Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing my AFL fantasy trade targets for round 7, going through who I think is the best option, especially because with some injuries, e.g. Tuke Miller, there is a chance for a lot of people to get on a premium with a low break even, etc. And that's where we have some players that are popping up as potential player of differences that are probably going to turn into mainstream in the next couple of weeks if people jump on them, if more players at the top end get injured. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So if I switch over here, I've done it so that current price over 500k, and you can see there isn't really anyone, especially at this point in the season. I'm not really willing to risk it on any mid prices. There's only a couple of exceptions to that, and that being what we due to past history, what we saw out of Himmelberg. Like if I bring the 2022 GWS kicking up, and you'll see Himmelberg here. Where is he? 3-1. So he gained 51 in the last 13 rounds or so off of kickouts. So that's only 150 points, and he was averaging, I think, 110 in that range, in that I guess series of games. So he was averaging around 10% of his score from kickouts, or so 10 to 15% from kickouts. So him being at 530k, priced at, what is that? Just short of, he's priced at like 71, I think, or something. If we look at Himmelberg, and he can easily go, currently averaging 55, last score 75, currently priced at around 65 or so, I believe, if I just do the maths, get the calculator up. 530 priced at, I believe, 1 second, priced at 60 basically on the dot. So, and I think there is a 20 point basement improvement, is in he's going to score at least 80 each and every week, meaning that he is down back, because Sam Taylor went down, and Himmelberg is, if he does go down back, he's going to score at least 80 is my assumption, even with Whitfield there and coming, as I think you could see Whitfield drift onto the wing and Himmelberg go down back, and maybe even come into the centre with Ward being out suspended. So I think we do see an adjustment with Himmelberg's role, and he can easily average 100 in that time. And 100 for, let's look at his, where's his break-evens? I think around 70, I want to say. Himmelberg, 56 actually. So if he gets 100 this week, he's going to go up 30k, 35k. Gets 100 next week, because if we look here, Himmelberg, he drops a 39 out of his system, right? Gets 100 this week. He's going to have a break even about 25, 30. Then gets 100 next week, or even 80. He's going to go up another 50k. And all of a sudden, you've just gotten a guy averaging 90 across 2 weeks that's gone up to at least 600k, probably even more. So I think it's almost a no-brainer to get Himmelberg. If we see on team sheets, I think it's later tonight, actually, today, that he's down back. If he is down back, I am going to get him, and probably sees the end of McGrath. And I probably won't be getting Sincotta if that is the case, as I'll want to get both Will Day and Himmelberg, if Himmelberg's named down back. But that leads me on to the next point of going for Will Day, 46, and he's averaged, averaged 106 at this point. That's crazy. So even if he has a bad game, he's going to get a 70 or 75 or something like that. So that's still making you 20, 30k. Like, he is a bottom out scorer of about 75 at this point. And there's no questions about when I'm surprised that he did stay in Hawthorn, signing that new deal, but there's no question marks over his head anymore. So good for Hawks fans, because it doesn't look that good for Hawks, to be honest. And yeah, just a proven scorer this year at the moment, and yeah, with that high points per minute, looks good. So those are my two top trades. If we go on to other guys, I'd be looking to trade in. I should probably upgrade this a little bit more to 600k to knock out a lot of these guys. 600k, and then we go here. Danaher, Cameron, no, none of these guys. Hunt, I think, is too late now. Waterman, Owens, I think, is a little bit too late. Warple, obviously too late. Haynes, Rochelle is an option. I just don't have the cash to be able to go up to him because McGrath decided to have a bummer of a last quarter, basically. But I really like Rochelle. Lockie Weller, just because of his buy, is another choice if you have a backline spot open. If you're able to, I guess, move Zeeble and Sheasel into the forward line and open up a backsman spot. If you move someone like Dunkley or something into the midfield to cover for Tuke Miller, then you can get Weller, as he has a really good buy and is averaging 90 or basically 100 at this point. Anyone else here that I really like with a low break even? Stewart's 72 break even is huge, and if we look at his schedule as I have him on my side, match stats note, we want fixtures, go up to the top. Essendon, he should do really well. We saw Nick Dacos basically not get tagged, so Tom Stewart should get the same treatment. I mean, he's a little bit harder to tag than probably Dacos, I would say, just because of his height. And Dacos, you just need to tag at this point. Well, I guess Dacos is probably actually harder to tag just because he has such a big tank and can do interchangeable roles. So he actually is harder to tag than Stewart. But if you have someone that can do those interchangeable roles, then Stewart's probably harder to tag than Dacos. But Stewart is definitely an option. Then you have Rosie at 72 break even. That's huge as well, but 825k, that's hefty. But if you wanted to have a guy that looks to be dominating for his side, I would get Rosie in at 825k. Newcomb, I think, drops a little bit with Day coming back. As you can see here, him with Day out of the sides, averaging 120. But with Day in the side, I think it's more like 95, 90, 94, I believe. And there's no one else here. Don't really like Shearer, to be honest. Smith, Viney, I was talkative last week of, and he went bang. So if you look at that last three average of a 106, I want to say, if we actually look him up, Viney is a 107 average last three, 90 last five, and he had a couple of 60s there. So Viney is a very, very good player to get. Hopper, I've been surprised about, but he's actually been really good. And at 770k, can he continue on? If we look, I believe he has the bad buy, which will be a factor in not getting him. Yep. So I don't want to get him now that I've seen he has around 15 buy, just because that is the terrible buy round. Josh Dacos has been surprisingly good. The only factor that is swaying me is the same factor that impacted Jones last week. And I know Dacos is a better scorer. It's just the fact that he's on a wing. Wings can get so isolated that he can have bad games. Like this 76 is what I'm deeming as a bad game for Dacos. But if he has a good game, which seems to be the case if they don't tag Nick Dacos because he just passes it to his brother and gets a 1-2, he gets those hundreds and 110 scores. So if you wanted a player of difference at that price and it was enabling you to get a rookie up to go from, for instance, Tuke, and a rookie such as like a Jimby or a Mackenzie up to a Rochelle, if you could do Tuke and Mackenzie to Dacos and Rochelle, I think that's a very, very good option. Scholl, he's been an interesting up and down one. I don't like. Ash, Boak, and then we come to Bont at 78 price. Break even. I think this is the last week you can get him because he's gone 90s each and every week and he started to fire now. He has started to be able to finish games off strong. I think he's he's going to be up there in the Brownlow, obviously, because he's Bont. But if we look here, he has Hawks, Giants. Carlton won't tag as well. Giants won't tag. He might get Connor Nash, but I think he has the tackling potential to break that tag anyway and can go forward. And I don't think Connor Nash can go back, to be honest. Won't get tagged against Adelaide, won't get tagged against the Suns, and then has Geelong, Port, North. He won't get tagged in any of those games, I don't think. So I think he's the number one trade target this week, to be honest, after what we saw last week. I know it's pretty just a simple, it's pretty simple to say that, to be honest, but the scoring potential is there for him to go 120 plus. He's already averaging, 108. I think he could go 120s into the bye, to be honest. So 78, that's a really good price to get him in at, especially as a replacement for Miller, as Miller was, 900k, I want to say at this point. I think he's 877, so you're paying up, what are you paying up? A good 20k for him, so you can save that with a rookie downgrade, to be honest. I know it's sort of sideways. It's not really, it sort of is a sideways trade, but when you're trading out a premium who's going to be out for, I think, 6 to 8 for Miller, I think. They said buy, so that's, 6. So yeah, I think Miller's going to be out 6 or so weeks. So to get in Bont, it would be huge for people, and I think we'll see Bont's ownership skyrocket now, already up 2%, so he's turning into he's sort of turning into a not so much of a player of difference anymore. Petrarch is up to 7%. That's annoying. So, and then anyone else here that I really like? Raul could be interesting without Took. It's just a question with Raul, can he get the marks to be able to keep up his score? Because I think he can do everything else. It's just, can he get the marks? Like, he's gotten 6, 7, 10, 11 marks in 6 games, whereas he's gotten 12 tackles in the last game and 11 in the game before. So if he can, I think he could actually be an interesting one to look at and see after one game. I want to see his performance against Richmond, because if he gets, say, 4 marks and 10 tackles and 25 touches, he is definitely a go for next week. Like, I know there's a lot of stigma around him, or a lot of chat about a no-go ever again type, because he's burnt so many. But you just got to look at the role capability or openness that he's going to get with Miller being out, and how you don't expect his tackles to drop. We don't expect that to drop, and he'll get at least 5 to 8 tackles a game, which is 20 to 30 points a game locked down already. He's going to get himself at least 15 to 20 disposals a game, right? That's at least another 40 points there, at least. So that's already 60 to 70 points locked down already for him. Then he's going to get, depending on the marks, at least, if we see that get up to at least a 5 in a game or something, then that's another 15 points. You've got a baseline score of 85 for Raul at 730k. And we could see a 10 tackle game, 6 or 7 mark game, and we could see his disposals rack up. And that's when he starts to get to that high 110, 120 games. And that's what you sort of want out of him at that price tag. So we can wait a week, because 82 break even, and that should be hold around 82 next week, I'm guessing. Another guy you could look to get in is Cogs, but has the bad buy, so I would warn against that. I think there's better choices. Does Bont have the same buy? Is that a problem with Bont? Bont does have that round 15 buy, so that is quite annoying for people, but I think he's going to be arguably a top 3 scorer in the comp, so that's why I would say Bont is probably a better choice than Cogs. And then, as Cogs is averaging 4 or 5 less than Bont, and just has these low games sometimes. Anyone else here really that I'm looking at? I mean, if you really wanted to go, if I go here and go above 800k, we start looking at, there is an option to go short, as he did go 120, I believe it was. If I go here, short, But I think I want to wait another week with shorts just to see that he's not going to change much in price given that 104 break even, and I want to see another week and see how those roles develop with Baker and Short in the side, as I think it was a shock to the system having Short back in for Baker. So I should probably wrap this up soon. Is there anyone else here? Tom Green's back, but I wouldn't be trading him in, to be honest. I'd be waiting a couple weeks if you don't have him, or because of his price. I don't think he's a trade-in, as I don't think there's too much volatility in his score to go up terribly quickly. Grundy, I'd be trading out immediately. Don't like his role. McRae, Mills, and Neal don't like their roles. Sicily's going to be so up and down. Miller's injured. Mitchell, not high enough scoring. Moore, I don't like his role at the moment. I think it's more due to Warple. I don't like Moore's role. Sinclair, I don't like his role either, as I like him more as a defender than in the midfield, and I just don't like his scoring output at the moment, or scoring potential, I should say. Dunkley, I don't like at the moment, but he's still a top 8 forward, and he can only pick it up from here. Ryan, I like his role fantasy-wise, but I don't like him in the actual Freo team. Brayshaw is apparently even injured, so we could see, if Brayshaw is injured, that's what I was going to talk about. We could see the need for Sarong at this point. Sarong has a 93 break even, so I mean, break evens don't really matter at that point. It's more about averages, and 117 average, and look at those last 5. I mean, that's what, probably a 110, 111 in the last 5, I'm guessing. Probably even more, to be honest. Now thinking about it, probably more towards 115. Last 3, 115. Last 5, 117, I think that said. So, yeah, Sarong is definitely an option, especially if Brayshaw's out. I mean, who's he playing? He's playing Brisbane. I don't expect Brisbane to put someone on him, to be honest. I think they'll beat him on their own merit. So, Sarong is certainly an option. Taranto was definitely an option if you needed some guy to slot in there, but Taranto is a lot more expensive than Miller. Oliver's going to dip in price now. I think, like, even if he goes 100 again, that's going to see him dip 40k again. So that'll be back to his break, what he started at, I think. And yeah. So, and Dacos, I guess, again, you could say is a trade target, but that would be maneuvering someone into the midfield, maneuvering Zeeble or Sheasel down back into the forward line, and then putting Nick Dacos in if you don't have him already. As him, Dunkley, and Taranto are the number ones, like the most owned players. So it's almost like, if you have any of these guys, or at least particularly Dacos, Rosie, and Taranto, that I do think Dawson is pretty much also a straight swap for Miller as well. You could do that. But I'll wrap this up now because it's been going quite a long time. That is, I guess we went through a lot towards the trade targets for Miller, guys. For Miller replacements, as he is injured for the long term and is a must trade. You have Merritt and Green returning for a lot of you guys, and you have basically it's down to Bont, Taranto, Rosie, and Dawson. I think would be the best replacements if you wanted them. If you wanted the only guy I trust in terms of mid prices, that would be Himmelberg. I think he's the only guy, and that is if he gets that defender role. As there will be a little bit of reshuffling, I think, with the out of who's out for, with Taylor being out as well as Ward being out. That could impact, because we could see someone go into that midfield, or someone go onto a wing as someone goes onto the mid. We could see Callahan go on ball, but I doubt that will happen, and I don't think they trust Ralston as going into the top 3 rotations on field, so into that inside mid role. So we could see Callahan pinch hit in, which means that we might see Whitfield go into the wing, and that could open up a role for Himmelberg down back. I think Himmelberg down back is about a 50-50 at this point, and I'll be jumping on that if he is named, as I think he just has great scoring potential, and it's a risk I'm willing to take given his scoring last year. And even if he does get a quarter or two back, he'll score 70 or 80. Like, as we've seen the last couple of weeks, he's rotated down back at the end to win games for them. So that's the trade targets for round 7. A big video as we had some major injuries, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.